welcome back to Meeting of the Minds. I'm Gene Zanetti, your coast-to-coast mindset coach from Winning Mindset. Wrestling mindset, winning mindset, and now also winning mindset solutions. We also work with corporate. We do peak performance with high-level businesses. We've actually worked with the Fortune Global 100 company working with their life insurance. So we're now training all peak performance areas. We've worked with sales teams, sales managers, and we just keep expanding. So it's been great. All right, App State, let's bring in. Coach, it says you're unable to join. Wait a minute, let's bring in. Unable to join. Is this you here? Yeah. It's saying we're having problems connecting. It says, so Coach, when I look at it, it actually says your name says unable to join. When I see, it says App Wrestling, which I believe is your name on here, unable to join. I have the green button. It looks like you jumped out, probably jumping back in. Everyone hang tight. We got Coach JohnMark Bentley from Appalachian State. They were MAC champions since we were working with them. We're just waiting. Sometimes this stuff happens. It's okay. So if anyone has any questions for me for the time being, that'd be a good time to get them going. I appreciate everyone jumping on the call. We got another beautiful day in the New York Harbor. Not really the New York Harbor, that's the Hudson River. As you see, we're in phase one now in New York City, people walking along the river. Got people over there. People looking out at the beautiful view of the bridge. That's the West Side Highway. So we're happy that things are returning to normal. Still says unable to join, Coach. I see you on there. I see the little green dot, but it says unable to join. It's okay, no problem. We don't panic. We're always working the kinks out. A lot of us are getting used to this. You don't know how many coaches. I'd say almost all of the coaches that we've had on the show was their first time. We probably had the first experience with many of the high-level coaches and wrestlers that you've seen on Instagram Live. Because remember, we came out of the blocks hard. As soon as the quarantine hit, we started doing these Meeting of the Minds. You guys know we do this not only for wrestling mindset, right? We also do this for winning mindset, which we have all different sports. We have 2 professional baseball players. We have another Super Bowl champion from the New England Patriots who's going to be jumping on. We have a ball player from the San Diego Padres who's going to be jumping on. This is on our winning mindset pages. And then also spiritual strength. There we go, Coach. This should do it. This should do it. This time it said you were able to join. It says waiting for approval. So I think you probably, if you could click the button that just says connect, that would probably do it. So we're just hanging on. Again, here's New York City. You can see probably maybe half the people are wearing masks, half are not. I think a lot of times people are just wearing the mask at this point. They kind of wear them down low on their neck, really for appearances, because it's really more like as you pass by people. But I did hear early on that masks are actually not good for you because you just keep breathing in the carbon dioxide. So, I mean, the other thing is this: you hear a lot of things from a lot of these talking heads on TV. A lot of them who claim to be experts. A lot of them call themselves PhDs. Where you have to always look at things with a little bit of common sense. If you keep breathing in the air that you're breathing out, it's probably not good for you. So my thought is, remember, the mask isn't, unless it has a filter on it, the mask isn't so much protecting you from the air that's coming into you. It's protecting other people from your air. So a lot of times, as a courtesy, we're seeing in Manhattan, people will put up the mask as soon as they walk by a person and then pull it down right after. But I just think, like I said, you see so many of these talking heads on TV who call themselves experts and getting everyone scared and riled up. I'm not saying this isn't a legitimate thing. It is. It's just, we got to be, I think it was definitely inflated, and there was a lot of fear induced, and there's a lot of government control that I think you'd have to say at this point, given everything. Let's see if we can get you on, Coach. We got cars flying up and down the West Side Highway. Oh, let's try this. Let's try on your name, Coach. Up and down the river here. Hey, Coach, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
I will make sure. Good. We'll make sure we tell everyone to go to your page, because I know you were trying to go on the App State website, right?
Yeah, it was something else trying to get on here. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, we're all learning together. I mean, it is what it is. We're all in this together. We're all ready for this whole darn thing to go back to normal and be over with anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I'm zoomed out, as they say. That's all I've been doing for the last several months, and it's actually the first Instagram live video I've done. But
yeah, I think I think you, Coach Goodale, Coach Tom Ryan, all of you guys, it was our first video with us.
yeah.
So we're. I mean, it's a new thing for us too. So how's the team? How are the kids doing?
We're doing okay. I think they're just itching to, things get back to normal and be back in our wrestling room training. And, they're trying to make the best of the situation they have, whether it be at home or, living off campus here in Boone, and, trying to train on their own and things like that. But, they're just ready to be back on campus.
Yeah, have they been saying they've been doing any kind of training on their own? And do they keep in touch with you and tell you, do they send you like a training log or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of guys that are actually still in Boone. So, I'm able to, see some of those guys frequently. But, we got a lot of guys that are back home, and, they have different situations, whether it's a club back home that they can go to and work out at, or, maybe a gym that they can lift weights and do cardio. And, we do a team meeting via Zoom every Tuesday night. So we just kind of connect via Zoom on every Tuesday night, update all the guys on the announcements that are going on here at campus. And, we typically try to do a thought for the day each one of those days, and try to keep them motivated and, looking forward to, getting back into Boone.
Yeah. Are you guys doing like a virtual camp or anything this year? Because you guys always have a very big camp, one of the stronger camps in the country.
Yeah, that was very disappointing when the campus decided to cancel all camps on the campus this summer. That really obviously affected us, in a great way. But we're looking into possibly doing some virtual clinics and camps probably at the end of this month, 1st of July, that we will be announcing on all our social media platforms.
Yeah, we're happy to help with that any way we can, because this is, like I've been telling people all around, and the NWCA people and everything, like it's one thing where it affects everyone. Like we're all kind of dependent on each other, the wrestling community. It's like wrestling mindset. So the coaches need the camps to raise money. And then, we need the teams to have money to use mindset training. And then all the wrestling organizations need money to give to USA Wrestling and these other things. So it's all like, we all need to support each other. So we're happy to tell people any kind of places where they can donate to the university. We're happy to kick people your way with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have to get creative this off season and this fall with just kind of our fundraising efforts. Our wrestling camps have funded a big portion of our operating budget and obviously our volunteer position for the last several years. And so losing those camps this year was devastating to our program, but we're, working through some, different measures to try to, get creative and find new ways to kind of generate some money. So.
Yeah, no, it's important. So we just got to keep them training and keep them working hard. So what does the team look like next year? The probable lineup coming up.
I think we're going to be pretty strong. I mean, we return 7 out of 10 starters on a team that had all 10 wrestlers in our lineup had a winning record. So we got a lot of experience back, a lot of consistency. But the 3 wrestlers that we lost obviously were, really, really good. I mean, we lost 3 conference champs. And so replacing those guys is going to be a challenge. But we've got a lot of guys that are doing a good job of training and have developed and been in our program for the last several years. And so, we're optimistic. We think we're going to have a pretty decent team next year. And I don't know, just excited for the challenge, ready to get all the guys back on campus and get back to work.
That's it. And what do you tell the guys? I know it's overused. We were talking about that last week with our other meeting of the Minds guest, that we always say control the controllables, but sometimes that's not enough because everyone always says that. So how do we, rather than the kids just look at them all as cliche, what do we tell them to keep a fresh mindset?
I think the one thing I've been encouraging our guys to do is don't let this time pass and think that, once we get back, to campus and things like that we're going to have a ton of time to get ready and prepare
Right.
and go through a preseason like normal. I mean, they've got to do everything within their power right now to get creative and find ways to get better, whether it's by, film analysis or, getting stronger in the weight room or, maybe managing their diet a little better so they come back more fit and lean than they have in years past. But, I challenge our guys every week that they've got to find a way to use this as an advantage, that maybe they're doing more than what their
Right.
opponents are going to be doing during this time. I mean, we can't sit back and just kind of wait for everything to return to normal and then think, well, okay, then we'll get ready. I mean, if you're not doing things every day right now to move towards your goals, then you're really falling behind and you're wasting this opportunity, because it really is an opportunity for a lot of motivated athletes. They can really pass up their competition right now because not
Right.
everyone's going to be motivated when they don't have their coach standing over their shoulder and putting them through the workouts and, controlling every aspect of their life. And so the ones who are going to come out of this stronger than the other ones are the ones that are the most self-motivated, and so that's going to be important. Get creative and find a way to get better during this time.
Yeah, it's true. If this lockdown, this is the national a lot of time or we don't have a lot of time, I think the answer is we just don't know. And maybe we're not supposed to know in the grand scheme of everything. It's just, we just got to make the best with what we have and get to work right away. Like you said, get to work now. Don't wait till later. You don't know when it's going to happen. They might say we're going to have a spring season. They might say it's just going to be a fall season. You just got to be ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be tough on everyone. I mean, it's obviously this is different than anything we've ever experienced as coaches and as wrestlers. But the one thing about our sport is we're very persevering. And so I think our guys are going to, we'll adjust to whatever the season looks like this year. And, hopefully we've got a lot of guys that can take advantage of, potentially, whatever their situation is, make the most of their opportunity. And so that's what we talk about every week.
Absolutely. And I could see personally attesting to it, being with you guys for probably about 4 or 5 years now. I mean, we've had All-Americans, MAC championships. What are some of the big mindset lessons that you found the guys took from what we brought to the program?
Well, we've won 4 out of the last 5 Southern Conference championships. And, each one of those teams have been a little bit different. And, we've had individuals that I think have, really gained a lot of ground by focusing more on the mental side of it. Others may, it's kind of varying levels of how much it was utilized by them, but we've encouraged our guys to, don't leave any stone unturned. If there's something
Right.
in the mental aspect that can make you a better wrestler, you can't just ignore that, that might be something that cost you in the biggest, in the biggest moment. And so, I think that was something else. I shared that with our team last week, that, things that you do during this time or don't do are going to show up in the most, the highest pressure moments in the, when we do come back to competition. And so, that's the one thing, is the moment of truth is going to come regardless of what this, COVID
Right.
deal has done for our, society.
Right. Right. And that's why they just got to focus on it. They just got to stay ready to go at all times. Like if they started the season now, which of course I know is ridiculous, but you got to be ready to go now. If it's in the winter, it's in the winter. If it's in the spring, it's in the spring. Yeah, and I could definitely, like I said, I've seen it, and I've seen your coaching staff, just the true dedication, whether it's being at the National Wrestling Coaches Convention, dedication to the camps, and all year round with the kids. Talk about your coaching staff a little bit. So I think that's been a really impressive thing that I've seen.
Yeah, we've had I'll be honest with you, I've had a tremendous group of assistant coaches over the last several years, and I think that's the cohesiveness of our coaching staff has probably helped grow our team as much as anything else. We actually, Coach LeBlanc has done a phenomenal job in the recruiting process, and, helping, kind of motivate and help develop some of our upper weights. Coach Josh Rosa, actually just accepted a position to take the head job at King College up in Pennsylvania. So he'll actually be leaving us, and we'll be, opening up that position and looking for a replacement. But then I've got one of my former wrestlers, Randall Diabe, who was a two-time national qualifier for us, also an upper weight. And those guys, it's not just like we coach together, but we're really close
Yes.
as a staff as well. I mean, we're extremely close, and I think we hang out and do a lot of things together outside of wrestling as well. Our families are close, and all my assistant coaches are close with my kids and my wife and all my family, and so it's really a family. I see our staff as an extension of my family, and I think that's important. And I think that, a lot of times those assistant coaches don't get enough credit for, just how good of a job they've done.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've seen it before. Not only the high level quality of all of your coaches right across the board, but also the cohesiveness, the dedication to the same goal, the same high standards, as well as genuinely liking one another, which is not a given in programs. And I think kids really need to consider, I keep saying kids, student athletes need to consider that when they're choosing schools. You want to be in a place that's not toxic, a place that's going to be, pushing you in the right direction. Just a good environment. I've always seen that with Appalachian State. So, I think you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
Well, I think the one thing that in overtime, I've seen on my personal staffs and, looking at other teams, and there's nothing that hurts a team more than the student athletes seeing division within the coaching staff, and so that's something that's really, I've learned over the years that's one of the most important ingredients. I mean, you have to have a cohesive coaching staff, and if they're not all together and on the same page, your team will disrupt, and it doesn't matter how much talent you have on your team. And so, I think more, I probably look at things a little bit different than I did maybe 8 to 10 years ago as far as selecting assistant coaches and additional staff. But that's going to be really important to me. Any staff that I choose, they've got to really buy into the team culture, into the program culture, and they've got to be a great fit within our coaching staff. They've got to mesh well together. That's way more important to me than how many, what accolades they had as a wrestler, how many times they were an All-American. I mean, that stuff is, that doesn't necessarily translate to being a great coach. And so, that's important to me. And if they've got those other credentials, that's great. But there's some things that I think are really high on my priority list when I look for assistant coaches, and other things that some others might seem extremely important that are more in the middle of the list for me.
Right. And I think that's so important. And I hope that, because not only are we speaking to the live viewers right now, which is a few people, but on the YouTube video, this will be recorded. So all different age groups will be able to see this, and this will have a lot of views. I hope that the high school athletes and the high school athletes' parents, when they're considering schools, they're looking at this. And we're certainly not putting down any other programs. There's a lot of people doing a lot of great things. But you don't want to just look for the names. We've seen it many times where there's a lot of big names on a coaching staff and they hate each other. It's constant friction. And again, we're certainly not calling anyone out. We hope that all that stuff straightens out with all those teams, but you got to look at how the coaches gel together, what the athletes are saying about their experience. You have to look at the big picture. Don't just get caught up with the total national titles or Olympic titles. That's not the end all be all. Like you said, Coach, the cohesion and being on the same page with the goals. And I think also a big thing that separates Appalachian State, just very genuine people. And there are a lot of very genuine people in the wrestling community, but all the coaches together is just a genuine group. So that's big.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been blessed. We've got a great coaching staff now, and I've got a great team now. I mean, I mentioned team culture, and our team right now, we've just got a tremendous group of guys that are blue collar. They show up to work every day with a positive attitude, and I think that team culture is something that I've seen our team really grow over the last 3 or 4 years. And honestly, this past year was probably the best team culture of any team I've ever coached. And, this year we set a program record for NCAA qualifiers. We ended up having 6 NCAA qualifiers, which unfortunately, we didn't get an opportunity to take those guys to the national tournament, which was just heartbreaking. But I think that shows the upward trajectory of our program, and the facility renovations that we've been able to do, and we've had donors that have stepped up and helped us in a big way. And so it's not just 1 or 2 people that have made a difference.
Right.
And we've got an army of fans and donors and assistant coaches and alumni that have just stepped up. And I couldn't name all the people that have made a difference for our program in the last couple of years, because I'd leave somebody out. I mean, we have a tremendous amount of support at Appalachian State, and I'm really excited about the future and where we're heading from here.
Absolutely. And again, just seeing it firsthand, because working with a lot of teams, you could see where the culture is and how the guys are responding. What tells me a lot is when we have our teams do the mindset principles, they stand, of course, but I'm saying for the viewers, they stand up as a group and out loud, they go through the 4 mindset principles as a team. And there's a lot of teams we work with where it's just kind of going through the motions. It's a chore. They're doing it because they have to. But I could say with Appalachian State, and and you guys being one of the higher level teams we're working with, it's positivity. I want to be there. I'm going to give it my best shot. So it's a massive tribute to the athletes. It's a massive tribute to the coaches. And like you said, really everyone, because it takes everyone to build an army, the donors, the supporters, the administration, the staff. It really is a team effort. So great stuff going over there, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, that's the one thing that I think has really helped our program, is not just within our coaching staff, but we've had tremendous leaders within the team the last couple of years. And I think the underclassmen have seen how important or how serious they take the mindset training when we do it. And so I think that it's kind of helped get the buy-in of the younger guys, because they've seen the guys who are having success are buying into it, and they're focused in on it. So obviously it must be important.
That's a key point. That's a key point. When you see the older, that's why it's not. Sometimes I think the mindset training has its biggest effect in years 3, 4, 5, or 6, because now the young guys who you might do it the first year, the seniors. What are they thinking? Maybe some of them are on board, some of them aren't. But then as those freshmen are coming up and they become the leaders of the program, that really has an impact on the younger guys. So absolutely.
Yeah, and I think also, the upperclassmen have went through some of the experiences and had some of the adversity. And so for them, you know, it's a little bit easier for them to, okay, so these are weaknesses I have and address them. Whereas a freshman, they don't know what they don't know. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
I think some of those upperclassmen, you know, they've had those hard, you know, heart-wrenching losses and maybe bad performances. And so, you know, a lot of times they, you know, they are more, you know, receptive to kind of, you know, like I said before, overturning every stone to make sure they're doing everything they can to be the best they can be.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. That's what separates the best from the very good, right? And like you said, not knowing that they don't know our technical term for that is unconscious incompetence. It's the most dangerous person in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great stuff, Coach. So how do we send more people your way? Website, social media pages? I think it's App Wrestling. That's the Instagram.
Yeah. At App Wrestling is our Instagram
and
our Twitter. And
the Twitter.
I think our Facebook page is App State Wrestling. And, you know, you can go on to appstatesports.com and, you know, find all the information on our school, our athletics website. It has a link to our facilities video. We just, like I mentioned before, we recently did a $200,000 renovation to our locker room, wrestling room. You can see all those facility renovations there at our site. And, you know, it also kind of has some of the accomplishments we've had over the last several years. And so I encourage everyone, you know, look into our program, and I think you're going to be really impressed. And then one of the things, I didn't get a chance to mention it tonight. I think that one of the biggest selling points that I talk to recruits about is that, you know, we have a tremendous fan base. Almost every time our guys wrestle, they wrestle in front of a standing room only crowd. And it's just phenomenal. You know, they get to come out into a crowd that's knowledgeable about the sport of wrestling and is very, you know, knowledgeable about the sport and passionate about ASU wrestling and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, so it's just, you know, we have a tremendous amount of support, and that can be seen at our home dual meets. If you go on our social media, on our Instagram, our Facebook page, we also have a link where you can purchase some of our gear, some App State wrestling gear for those fans out there that don't have anything. We'd love to send you, put you in some black and gold App State wrestling gear. So.
Absolutely. And like I said, everyone, it's very important right now that you are supporting wrestling teams, and especially Appalachian State, who's doing great things. Like we said, them putting the student athletes first, looking at the big picture, the mind, the body, the student athlete, everything. It's just very important that you get out there and you support these programs. And Coach, thank you for all that you do. We really love working with you guys. And any way we could help you, whether it's anything, even virtual camps in the summer, just let us know. We're happy to help.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Absolutely. We'll link all the Appalachian State sites and everything to the YouTube page on the bottom so everyone will be able to go your way. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.